candidate for Pennsylvania's 8th Congressional District, Paige Cognetti. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thank you, Brian.
So first and foremost, I need to put your latest ad right here on the screen because it was one of the best ads that I've ever seen. If the folks who are watching and listening right now haven't yet seen it, trust me, you'll want to watch this.
Northeastern Pennsylvania, NEPA for those who love it. Our folk heroes are the workers. People here work hard, and we stand tall. But our new congressman falls a bit short. Rob was handed the keys to a family fortune at 19. Workers here built that company. Rob sold it to foreign private equity. Rob ran for Congress on a promise to ban stock trades. This year, he's already made 600 trades. 600. Sold Chinese stocks the week of a tariff, buys missile stocks before a war, buys jet stocks before a big contract, overseas crypto, buys crypto stocks before a vote. Said he wouldn't cut Medicaid? Cut Medicaid for over 25,000 of our neighbors. Sold Medicaid provider stocks just before the vote, profiting off of Pennsylvania's loss. So people keep asking Rob, a congressman worth around $50 million with a secret helicopter, to stop trading stocks and focus on the people. Rob protests, saying, "What am I gonna do?
Just leave it there and lose money and go broke?"
My story, it's a little different. I met my husband at his small business. We're raising our family here, and we're proud to call NEPA home. When our mayor went to prison for corruption, the Democratic machine thought they could put in another crony. So I took on the powerful and corrupt Democrats and ran for mayor as an independent with a simple idea. The government should work as hard as the people it serves. They called it Paige against the machine. As mayor, we did things differently. We lowered costs, cleaned out the corruption, managed the finances, fought the utility companies, built pool parks. We slashed the cost of doing business, built nearly 1,000 more homes, and welcomed new businesses so everyone here has a shot at the American dream. We listened. Rob isn't brave enough to hold a single real town hall. I've held dozens in Trump country. We built a government for everyone. Rob says Scranton is
not what we are.
Well, Rob, I say day trading away the public trust is not who we are. So yeah, I'm running for Congress because people here deserve a lot better than a rich kid disrespecting our hard work and proud legacy. We can stand tall against a Washington that takes advantage of working people and make it work for us. People deserve a future they can believe in and a government that works as hard as they do, always.
Okay, so first and foremost, I want to dig into a little bit of what the current Republican congressman in Pennsylvania's 8th Congressional District has gotten into. Can you give a little background into why he is like the perfect encapsulation of the corruption and self-dealing, self-interest that has kind of consumed Washington?
So we have freshman Congressman Rob Bresnahan, who last year as a candidate wrote an op-ed about how he was going to ban stock trading. We get to Congress, he gets the job. In the first 8 months of the job, he has traded over 600 times. He's become the second most prolific stock trader in Congress. So he literally took the time to write an op-ed and get it published last year and completely flipped and has just been making money off of these stock trades. And it's not just, making sure that his portfolio looks good. He sold healthcare stocks before the big, beautiful bill vote. He sold crypto, tech, defense, all of these things in conjunction with votes that have benefited him. The one that hurts the most is dumping an Allegheny County hospital bond before cutting Medicaid. He also told people in the district throughout the campaign, and especially in the first few months of the year, "I'll never cut your Medicaid. I'll never. Literally does the exact opposite thing when he gets there. So it's the broken promises, and on the stock trades, he's literally profiting off the pain of people.
Can you talk a little bit about how the bill that he voted for, the One Big Beautiful Bill, is going to impact folks in your district in particular? Because I mean, this includes Scranton. Like, it's not, you don't represent Philadelphia, right? And so this is a district that is Republican enough to have elected a Republican official who would then turn around and basically screw over those very people by doing the exact opposite of all the things he promised to do, whether it's his own self-dealing or closing down their own hospitals that they rely on, or taking away health care that they rely on.
Yeah, it's really hard to listen to because he also is saying, well, this $50 billion rural health fund, it'll solve all these problems. The math just doesn't work. Right. He keeps trying to defend these cuts, trying to paper over it and, pull the wool over people's eyes. I mean,
trying to cutting like $950 billion, but then replacing it with a $50 billion, like replacing it with 4% of what they stripped away.
The math just isn't there. Here in Scranton, we are already facing an unrelated hospital closure. Just, the pure private takeover of healthcare over the last 30 years in our country has come home to roost. We're already suffering for this. It is going to get worse very, very quickly. I had a conversation with somebody I know in Scranton just this morning that her grandchild who has a home health aide, that home health aide is already canceled. And her daughter has to leave her job to go home and take care of that child.
Yeah.
So their entire economic and their financial picture of that family is already completely on its head. They don't know what they're going to do. And this is already having an impact. Don't let people tell you, oh, it's coming in 2027. No, these cuts are going to hurt now. I don't want them to, but as we go into 2026, we need people to understand how bad this is going to be, and that Medicaid cuts for a family don't just impact that family. That means longer wait times at the ERs that are already packed. That means rural hospitals that can't stay open, so a city hospital is packed. That means EMS that doesn't get paid enough to stay afloat, and those EMS, those ambulances aren't coming. We already have a crisis like that. These are going to be real impacts now, not in the future. And this guy, not only did he vote for the big, beautiful bill, he profited off of it, voting over 600 times in these first few months that he's been in office.
How are you thinking about your campaign in the context of the generational change that is very desperately needed on the left?
I came into office as the Paige against the machine. That's what we called my candidacy in 2019, and we continue to call it that. I ran as an independent originally. The mayor had gone away for extortion and bribery. He went to federal prison. A long line, unfortunately, of northeastern Pennsylvania politicians who have gone away for corruption. The Democratic Party here, no friends of mine. They tried to just run another crony. I ran as an independent against them. I beat them in 2019. Beat them again in 21. They ran a city party chair against me in May, beat him handily. So we continue to fight that old corrupt machine. People want that change. They want leaders they can trust and believe in. That has not been the case here. I've been willing to take people on. It hasn't been easy. We've said no to powerful people. We're going to continue to do it. I think that the generational change that is coming is reform-minded, willing to stand up, not just sitting down and letting the old systems, lead the day. We have a lot of great candidates out there that are willing to step up in this moment, and I'm grateful to be one of them.
With the folks that you've spoken with, obviously, politics has been a little bit upended in terms of the usual coalitions. The 2024 election cycle saw groups in every demographic, every geographic region all move to the right. I'm not sure that those folks who've moved to the right are necessarily calcified in their positions in the same way that the majority of Americans are. Like, there is still a slice of people that can go either way. How have your conversations with those folks informed kind of your view of the broader electorate, and whether somebody like you can run a campaign that's viable, as we've seen a lot of Republicans kind of grab up a lot of votes that had previously gone to Democrats?
I think people want a fighter. They want to know that somebody is there fighting for them. Here in Scranton, we've taken on the public utility companies. We've taken on these, old party bosses that have, just let corruption happen for years and years and years. We were still taking cash payments at the city. You can imagine how that was going.
Yeah.
There's a long line of things that we've done, and that fighting spirit is something that we're going to take. I think that folks that voted for Trump in 2024, they see a fighting spirit in him. I don't think they necessarily connect the dots to the policy proposals.
Right, to who he's fighting for.
Exactly. And then who he's going to put in these positions, who he's going to put in his cabinet. So that fighting spirit has actual receipts in our case here in the northeastern Pennsylvania, here in Scranton. I can show nearly a decade of fighting for people and building a government that actually works, and a government that works for everyone. I think people know that here. They're going to vote for me, whether they're Republican, Democrat, or independent. I have a lot of cross-partisan support here in Scranton. Folks that vote for Trump that have a Paige Cognetti sign in their yard for mayor. So I know this can happen as long as we are very clear about who we are fighting for, and we show that we are absolutely real about it, unlike this Bresnahan guy who comes up to Scranton and Wilkes-Barre throughout the district. Oh, no, I'm not going to cut Medicaid.
Yeah.
And then goes down to DC and does it and pretends that this is like the time of horses and buggies and we'll never find out.
Yeah. I'm curious in your conversations with folks, I'm always curious to hear what it's been like on the ground when you've encountered folks who might have, voted for Trump or registered independents, whatever it may be. What are some of those interactions like with you?
We have a lot of support from independents, certainly, and also from folks that vote for Trump. They see the results of what we've done in the city, not just people that live in Scranton. Scranton is the biggest city in the district. So people come here for holiday celebrations. They come to stay at the hotels for weddings, for festivals. They see the growth. They see that the city is safer. They see that it's safer to walk around because the traffic is calmer. They see the great parks that we've built. We've done all these cool things in parks. They really see that the city is thriving. That's the reputation of Scranton over these years. And so they want to vote for results. Like if they see somebody who's getting results and they see somebody who's honest with them and doesn't just give them lines, that there is a case there for them to trust that person. And we know with local elections, and that includes Congress in my view, when it is somebody that you have met, it is somebody that your sister or your spouse or your kid has met and can come home and say, oh, I met her. I really liked her. That makes such a big difference. And that's the opportunity we have at the local level. And that's why local elections, I think, are so important now in the midterms as we head into next year and when so much is on the line.
What is the issue or issues that you're especially passionate about? Like, we've got folks near me in California who, go to Congress and their focus is on climate. I'm curious what moves you and what's really fueling your campaign.
So I worked for the Auditor General after I was on the school board. We wanted to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. I started out on the school district pieces because I'd been on the school board, looking at travel, for example. Some of the superintendents in the state fly in first class and staying at the Ritz on the taxpayer dime when school boards are having to cut the arts, right? Things like that. Those were democratic, cities that we were looking at.
Yeah.
The waste, fraud, and abuse is something that no one wants. This is not a partisan issue. I think in these last 8 months, Democrats have kind of let the Republicans take that from us in so many ways. And we don't have to make that a partisan issue. No taxpayer wants their dollars wasted. I want to be very, very focused on that. I want to make sure that we're doing to the federal government what we've been able to do in Scranton. I've been saying we've been doing Doge in Scranton with a red pen and high heels instead of a chainsaw and weird t-shirt.
Yeah.
And shame on me, I didn't brand it something. But we've been doing the work. We've been making government more efficient. We've been tossing out old programs and building better ones, building the technology. It's hard at the federal government, but it can be done. But it has to be done the right way. We can actually do it. I really want to dig in on that. And then the corruption piece, I'm not taking corporate PAC money, the stock ban. It's just, there's no way that you should be trading stocks in Congress. It's not begrudging wealth at all. Please go build a company. Please go hire people. Please go build, family sustaining wages and, be great for our cities. Do it. But don't then also be in Congress and trade on the votes that you're taking. Like, just pick one.
Can I have your general reaction to what we did see with that effort that you've been championing for so long with Doge, which, was promised, I think, in a certain way and ultimately was carried out in a way that would derive maximum benefit for Elon Musk? I mean, a lot of the agencies that he went after were directly either imposing fines on, regulating, or whatever it may be, had oversight onto his own companies or him personally. He went after the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which only exists to protect American consumers from predatory financial institutions, but would have had oversight into X's payment processor. Went after USAID, which was investigating his use of Starlink in Ukraine. And so kind of the way that this was put into practice was really just as a cudgel for Elon to wield to help himself.
Right. And I think that's what the tragedy of that, right, is people want to trust. They want to actually trust in people and people in authority. They want to trust in institutions. They need institutions. But you have this Doge effort that is clearly, right, built for very few people to benefit, and then throws out the baby completely with the bathwater on so many different agencies. I don't think it's any secret that CFPB is not the favorite agency of many people who probably fund a lot of the campaigns of these folks. But you're throwing things out like USAID, which is a tiny fraction of the U.S. government budget. There's a lot of ways that we can reform the way the agencies work, reform the budgets in the agencies, but don't blow our whole soft power as the United States of America across the world to do it. We don't have to do it that way. I'm worried about how long it will take to build back some of these things. But we can do it. We've got to try. We really have to try. And the consumer financial protection is a great piece, where I was at the Treasury Department when that was created. And it's so necessary. I mean, from student loans to junk fees here, in Scranton, we're dealing with utility costs. And as data centers proliferate around the country, people's utility costs are absolutely going to go up. People need these financial protections as much as they can possibly have them. You worry about, grandma getting a call from a scammer. It's the CFPB and agencies like that are going to help. So that's another piece I want to dig into.
How can folks who are watching right now help your campaign?
So we are at page4pa.com. We're in the middle of the first few days of our campaign, and we certainly need to make sure that we're raising enough money to be able to hit the ground running and make sure that this campaign is something that is as exciting as it should be. We have a great track record. We're going to have a lot of fun. I am excited to be representing Scranton and all of Northeastern Pennsylvania, be a fighter for Northeastern Pennsylvania. We really can do this. We're absolutely going to do this. It's a Trump plus 8.5. It's a steep climb, but I know we can do it. So please go to page4pa.com and support us.
Great. And we'll put that link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. For anybody who's watching and listening right now, this is a huge pickup opportunity. We have seen districts across the country, including just this past week in Iowa, swing 22 points to the left. So again, an R+8 district may seem like an uphill climb, but this is exactly the cycle to be able to win in. And so especially in these districts that are not so urban, your donations, your contributions go a lot further. So again, if you're considering donating right now, this would be a great opportunity to do so. Paige, thank you so much for your time. Best of luck in the campaign trail.
Thank you so much, Brian.